everybody? Welcome back. We're about to hop into game 2. Technical difficulties should be fixed, and here comes the team fight. Saints trying to take back the first point. They pop that more ultimate. They take down a guard chop, and let's take a look at the team compositions. They're going to be playing that Reaper, Sojourn, Junker Queen, Lucio Kiriko, a team comp here, and that's a big stagger there by the Saints Hammer. It's going to be pretty late coming back to this big fight where Saints try and secure the first point. Looks like Eves might stagger a little bit, and he will do that as well. So that's going to secure the Saints this first point, and they take a 1-0 lead on Flashpoint.
Clearly Converse was not listening to our original stream because Eves is just being put in the blender by that Ramatra. You know, we missed a little bit of the first bit of this game. We didn't see how that first team fight really devolved, but Saints having 3 ults to play with, both sides actually having 3 ults to play with, you'd have to think some are going to get pumped for this next flashpoint as the Saints and Converse meet here. There's Azure holding the front line yet again, so strong here. Junker Queen a little bit interesting here, not as much of a DPS character as Ramatra, but still deadly as Sojourn. Noxious trying to pop his ult. Razor falls to Reaper, that Death Blossom picking off one here. Converse though cannot finish that capture as the Saints remain strong on the point. Azure using his ult to make sure that Converse can't get too set up here, and now they just have to hold Converse back, get that Reaper off the point, get that loose. Oh, what a great shot by Noxious there, just pinpoint accuracy as the Saints take the second flashpoint. Now they start the capture.
Yeah, great job here by the Saints running down the staggers, and they're going to be able to find a couple easy kills for themselves. They get the first point again. A lot of ultimates are used from both sides. Converse going to have the upper hand in this next one with this Kitsune rush, but the Moira very close to her ultimate as well. So we're going to have one support on each side here, and interesting who's able to win this out. Usually it'll be the Kiriko ultimate, it's a little bit stronger than the Moira ultimate, but if the Saints quickly dive a backhand character, blow someone up with that Moira ultimate, could definitely be a way for them to win this fight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those first couple picks are so important here. Something to note, Razor switching off of Genji, electing to go with Tracer. Definitely an interesting switch here, sort of filling that same role. Tracer just as strong as Genji in the right scenario. Put him in the right hands, do God's work. Is now Converse. Here is that push they're committing to. We got 3 members of Converse here, and they're going to take it. Saints just letting Converse take that one. Saints at 97% capture. Progress here is now Noxious going in, finding 2 before he goes down. Soaks is there to clean up the other Lucio. Is now Razor trying to stagger that Reaper, going to fight him off. Is now the Saints, where it looks like Converse is going to take it. The Saints easily recapture that second flashpoint, and now we continue to move on here. The Saints look to be in the driver's seat still.
Yeah, and they switched over to the Tracer instead of Genji on Razor, who already farmed up a pulse bomb. Could be a big one if he could land it on the enemy Lucio, who has that beat drop. But 2 rounds to 0. Saints looking to close out the map on this next flashpoint. Guard chop, by the way, still on the Junker Queen. That's what they've committed to on Servasa here. Hasn't worked out for them yet, but still a lot of map to go. Now the Saints looking to start their push here. Converse have ultimates ready, but there's the Reaper Wraith ult. Used big ultimate from Garchomp, but it gets blocked. The beat drop comes through from the Saints. Kiwi has to counter, but Yeeps gonna fall down before that beat comes down. Saints gonna get the capture. A nice Ramatra ultimate here as well, making so much space. Lucio looking for a boop here. Moira use out that fade. Junker Queen has no support behind her, will fall down. Another great fight from the Saints as they look to run Converse over.
Yeah, excellent use of the ults there. That Ramatra ult so good at creating space and staggering those late members of Converse to the point. Converse now 2 DPS ults of their own with that Moira ult soon to be ready as well. Not really sure if Junker Queen is such a great pick to commit to here. Junker Queen, especially when she gets kind of ganged up on like the Saints have been doing, is just so isolated and can't really do much about getting.
The Reaper by himself, just gonna pop that Blossom. A great job there from Converse. They find a couple early picks. Noxious does find the trade, but a nice teamfight win from Converse, only using 2 ultimates.
Yeah, really smart there, and I think we did see that Lucio again. Always shout out to those DPS Lucios, man. Like such a hard thing to do, and so good in the right scenario. I mean, we've seen some great Lucio play from both sides here, but again, this is exactly kind of the story of the game is that the Saints get this high progress, lose one, and then they come back and retake in the next fight. So I'm expecting a similar result here as Soldier's Obnoxious is all just about ready here. No, he's just finishing off the second Sojourn here as that ult does get popped, and now the Saints, that is Soldier getting Reaper before he can even get set up on the point. That is exactly what the Saints were gameplaying here. Noxious just on an absolute tear right now for the Saints. Just, you cannot stop that man.
Great job there, Noxious, with some beautiful shots to close out the map for the Saints in a very dominant map at that. They take a 2-0 lead in the series. I think now they've put themselves on great pace to close this map out in map 3. Let's take out the play of the game by Noxious. Beautiful counter ultimate, takes down the Soldier and barely see her on the screen there, and then kills the Reaper who wraiths in. Nice job here by the Saints. A beautiful map from them, and yeah, just gotta keep up this good gameplay.
Yeah, I know we had talked about how good Razor was, but how good is Noxious on Sojourn? They're absolutely the difference maker. They're just in the right spot. Wherever the Saints needed him to be, he is there. So excellent work from the Saints to keep the momentum going here. And I mean, if they, like we said the last one, if they just keep this up, this should be a pretty easy 3-0 for them. And I mean, we can see the players still looking very locked in right now. That's probably not a great thing to see on the camera, but we will move past that one. But again, like we were saying, the Saints just continuing to play at a very high level. Converse just has no answers to any of the strategies here. Just very bizarre pick with the Junker Queen. I don't think that was a factor in any of those major team fights, and that ult as well just getting blocked out. That was a huge turning point for Converse. Just none of those ults landing the way they should be.
Yeah, Redix always had the B drop ready whenever that ultimate got popped, and then the Saints kind of just ran over them. The Junker Queen, after using the ultimate, becomes pretty vulnerable. It's hard for the supports to keep her alive through the constant damage of the Ramatra and the rest of the team. So Saints playing their game perfectly, making sure they're keeping their team alive when needed, and that they're pushing through when needed as well. A great job to take a 2-0 lead in this series, as now they're on the match point, looking to close this map out. I mean, if you're Converse, what do you have to say to your team to kind of get back into this one?
The first thing I'm saying is, Eves, you got to get off Reaper, man. I mean, like, we got to change something up here. I mean, the biggest thing is that Converse just hasn't been able to respond to these changes that the Saints are making. I mean, like, the Saints comp was so similar to that first game, and Converse had really no answers for it. They decided to use a fairly similar comp to the one they got rolled in the first time they played. So I think now is really the time they need to step back and just really think about, who's going to do what, and just really think about what the Saints are going to be throwing at them, and, just maybe be a little bit more willing to make changes to the comp in the moment instead of waiting for it to be too late when the Saints have already run up the score a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think Saints are going to continue to play the same comp. Redix kind of picking between Moira and Kirko on that last map, just doing whatever the team really needed in the moment. And we're going to be going to King's Row in map 3, so predicted the map. I didn't get the right order, but King's Row, a map that Saints are very, very experienced on. Probably a lot of teams are. It's one of the more played maps in Overwatch, especially at this level. So I'm definitely going to expect Saints to start on the defense and play the same type of team composition. But on the flip side, Converse, I wouldn't be surprised if they go for something like the Doomfist again. Try and throw the Saints off. They've thrown everything they have at them. They've thrown the Doomfist, the Junker Queen. Nothing's worked. I mean, it's going to be very hard for Converse to push through the Saints as they stand. But maybe if they try and mirror, maybe try and make some good mechanical outplays, maybe give yourself a shot in the series.
I think the secret is starting fast. I mean, King's Row, that first defensive point is very defender-sided. I mean, once you get really set up, it's so hard for the attacking team to break through, especially when you only really have like 4 or 5 minutes to get that capture progress. And once you really dig in as the defense, it's really hard to give up that territory. And then if the Saints have to go back on attack, they're going to be aggressive, and that really would spell trouble for Converse. But I'm really hoping to see on the Converse side a really aggressive first push. Like, let's just get Lucio just speed boosting the entire way through. Like, maybe let's get like some sort of a flyer, like you said, a Doomfist, to sort of get in that back line and distract. I'd love to see somebody like a Farah to maybe just kind of get above him, but might be tough with that Sojourn hit scan. So I mean, like I said, that aggressive first push I think is going to be the secret if Converse wants to extend this series longer than it probably would be.
Yeah, I must agree with you on that one. We're about to get into a game where you can see the players locked in, focused up, ready to go. And here we go, Converse. They're going to go for the Farah Widowmaker composition with Ana. No, they're going to switch things up. They're going to go over to the Sojourn, but still, they're going to be playing Ana and Juno backline with a Sigma. So they're playing a very poke, heavy comp, just hoping to find picks and just have a lot of splash damage here. It's going to be interesting to see how the Saints play, considering they have no hit scan and they have a Mei and a Genji on their line.
Yeah, Eves is very lucky that Noxious decided to swap off of Sojourn. If he was still playing Sojourn, this would be a much different story here. The Sigma, very interesting, you know, definitely a very slow character. This one not really, you know, the speed that we were probably looking for as Azure just takes Garchomp out, just isolated in that back corner here. Eves also getting picked off by a number of the Saints here. Is just not giving up anything here. That Mei wall just doing the Lord's work, defending from that Buster's. Noxious hitting that shot on Ana. Just look at this, flicking with the icicles there and hitting the spray right after, and the wave. Just absolute BM on the side of Noxious here. He is feeling it right now and hitting all the shots he needs to.
And a very easy first push defense for the Saints. Already a minute off the clock as Converse really struggling. The wall comes through onto the tank. The Ramacha being picked up by Converse here, but it's not going to find much. Farah gets taken down to 1 HP. Noxious low health as well, has to be careful. Does get healed up, but Converse are the ones on attack. Saints will happily just sit back here and trade cooldowns over and over as long as Converse doesn't push through. Another wall comes through. They poke away at Garchomp. Redix has that Kitsune rush before either the healer of Converse has one. There goes Yves down to Redix out of the sky. Nice shot by Kiro with Garchomp. Gonna get chased into the spawn here. Do they have a Mei wall to block it off? No, they don't. Still another beautiful defense from the Saints. And 2 minutes, already half the time bank from Converse gone without any real threat of taking down any Saints progress.
No, the Saints are doing a really good job at staggering the entrance of these characters from Converse here. I mean, we saw that Ramattra really getting taken out, isolated by Noxious's Mei wall, and now the Saints have ults to play with as well. Converse only has a minute 42 if they want to continue this match at all and even get something going, as Converse again, that Ramattra getting isolated right away. A couple members coming in to help, but Azure is just going to back away. There is that Kitsune rush from the Saints trying to push Converse back a little bit more as Farah. There is the Justice raining from above. Does find Noxious, but Razor coming in with the Dragon Blade from the sky and looking for more. Has that Juno in sight. Isn't going to finish it off. The Juno is going to get away now. Razor is super deep into the Converse backline, but is going to manage to get away. The Saints picking up a couple more kills for the road and holding down this defense yet again. 1 minute to go for the Converse team if they want to get anything going here.
A great job here by the Saints. I mean, Converse have just this one ultimate as of right now, just the Sojourn. Garchomp very close to their Armacho ultimate. Saints have a beat drop, so they can sustain a very long time here with this Lucio. Just have to not get picked off early, but Soaks is going to be the first one to fall. Not sure how that happens, and now Razor staying down low HP, forced to back out. Saints need to put it in reverse and put it in reverse quickly as they try and get out. Hammer, they're not going to be able to spot out Razor right below them, who's in a very dangerous position. Will be able to survive for the time being. This Pharaoh gets taken down by Azure. The beat drop comes down. Noxious does fall down, but they're diving the high ground still. Only one member dead for Converse. Garchomp has that Ramacha ultimate ready and to go as the rest of the Saints taking down the backline of Converse. Nobody's here to help Garchomp. Razor finding a couple quick kills. Ramacha trying to take down Redix, but Redix lives on 1 HP. Finally does fall down to Garchomp, who's going to be using this Ramacha ultimate, but he's the only member left alive here. Can the Saints take him down? Azure has to be careful. Redix is dead. Not a lot of healing. Torbjorn coming out here for Noxious. A random last second swap, and the cap's gonna come through from Converse in the end. A good job from them.
Yeah, just what a last second push on the side of Converse, just when you thought the match was over and this was going to be an easy offensive push for the Saints here. Converse finding a little bit of momentum is now. Look how far back the Saints have been pushed. They're all the way back into the factory as Garchomp playing super aggressively with that Ramatra as Noxious, like we said, electing to swap to Torbjorn. Like I said, maybe definitely an interesting choice.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's thinking there, but always love to see some Torbjorn play, especially in a competitive scene. Definitely going to be useful against that Pharah. He already has been making a presence known, as that May here, but Converse now has been able to push this payload almost halfway through this first point with virtually no resistance from the Saints at all. Here's Eves on Pharah with that ult. The Saints push Converse back just a little bit more. Razor on the front line, finding two, getting Hammer, who's also decided to swap to Torbjorn.
What's going on here?
What is going on here indeed, as Razor trying to poke away at Converse from the balcony here, is going to get an assist there. Noxious picking off Lucio's. Now the Saints have sort of found their footing again and have pushed Converse back from that payload. Yeah,
great job here by the Saints. I don't know why there's two Torbjorns, but Torbjorn, I mean, is a good character, has a lot of DPS. Eves on this Pharah, I mean, needs to find a huge ultimate to take down the Saints. Might just look to solo barrage the Ramatra, but you're on the ground as a Pharah. That's not where you want to be. The Saints just going to use that molten core, and they're going to completely run over Converse. A couple early picks. This Torbjorn's going to be next to fall. Nice shots there by Razor. I don't know if they can take down the Juno, but they're damn going to try. Beautiful job there by Razor, getting the last kill. An easy team fight for the Saints, only needing to use one ultimate. As now they look for the spawn trap. They have to be a little bit careful here not to overaggress. Garchomp uses his form extremely early, and the beat drop gets used as well. Beat drop comes out from the Saints. A huge Dragon Blade maybe coming out here from Razor. Is he going to look to go on the flank? No, he's going to hit the Ramatra on the front line. A nice kill. There's only 19 seconds left. Converse have to make their way over to this point, and they do. Saints have to be careful not to give too much distance as Eves falls down again without using that Pharah ultimate. Ganja going to be the next to fall, and now in the spawn is Converse. The last three members stuck here. A beautiful hold from the Saints as they stop all of Converse momentum.
No, excellent job from the Saints to regain the momentum. They definitely gave up a bit more territory than they were hoping to. Converse getting that late push, just extending this match, but the Saints do not look phased at all. Still all smiles, still locked in, and they look to go on the counterattack. But how good was Razor at being able to shut down that Pharah not once but twice, making sure that Pharah did not leave the ground at all. That was a huge moment for the Saints, because that ult from Pharah really could have swung the entire team fight, especially when the Saints were just trying to rush back to that payload and just establish their defense.
Yeah, I mean, a very great defensive round from the Saints, and they don't have to push it too far to complete this map, and I'm definitely expecting something interesting here on attack, since they know they just need to quickly cap this point, get it through. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for some sort of a different team comp to start off this round, but it looks like they're going to be sticking to their bread and butter. Noxious going to go Widowmaker. Could stay it for the entire round. I would definitely not be surprised. I've seen him play it on this exact map before and have complete dominant games. But Converse, they're going to go for the Soldier, and they're going to go for the Doomfist. They're going for something a little bit more wonky.
What this tells me, the Saints are absolutely going to be attempting to hard counter that Pharah yet again. I mean, Noxious has been hitting his shots all night. I can't see that changing. Eves is going to have a very tough challenge to deal with Noxious here, as Noxious, look at this, right on the balcony again, looking for those early picks, trying to get those pixel peaks through that side here as Razor again. Look at it, already in the backline. Converse not defending that first point as well as the Saints did. The Saints already flooding that back area of the point here. It's virtually no members of the Converse team are defending the point. It's now Ramatra is even in the backline here. The Saints begin capture already within that first minute. Ramatra is just running wild in the backline, just doing whatever he wants with that Lucio. Looking for the Juno to finish it off, and that is going to do it for the Converse team, as St. Clair already at the spot. Noxious typing GG's in the chat already. The Saints feeling very confident, looking to finish this one off quick, as Redix having a little bit to say about that early GG call. But again, the Saints already escorting the payload. It doesn't even feel like we feel like we just started this round. They're already escorting the payload.
Yeah, very great push there from the Saints. They do exactly what they need to, and now they have 5 minutes to complete this map, and it's all but over. Redix picks up Ganja. Saints looking to escort this one to its final destination, and A great job from them here. Garchomp falls down. The rest of Converse are going to fall swiftly. Azure does fall down, but Soaks picks up a trade. Noxious takes down the Widowmaker. And now the capture will come through for the Saints, who very swiftly are going to find a 3-0 over Converse. They're going to move their record up to 3 wins and 1 loss, as Converse now going to be 1-3 on the season. I mean, Saints showing why they are one of the top teams and doing it in spectacular fashion.
Spectacular fashion, and shout out to Noxious for that crazy final Widowmaker no scope essentially. But Azure is going to be taking home play of the game for this one. I mean, like, look at this. Just so who let Ramatra get into the backline so deep? I mean, what are you doing here? You just cannot let this happen. I mean, this was really the downfall of Converse. There's just no answer to anything the Saints had. The Saints were able to play super aggressive on attack, super lockdown on defense. They just owned every single aspect of every round they played, and they should be very, very proud of how they played. If this is how they're going to be playing against Maryville next week, that might be a very tough one for Maryville.
Yeah, absolutely a great job here by the squad and getting some good momentum midway through the season. An important victory over an opponent they should be beating decisively, and that's exactly what they did. So very good to see that for the team. Now moving forward, as you said, Maryville next week, that's going to be a hard matchup. But I think the Saints, they're always feeling confident. I think they believe they do have a really good shot at beating Maryville, and as you said, if they play like this, they should definitely be feared. Before we close things out, do you have an MVP for the series?
I think I'd probably give it to Azure. I mean, like, his play on Ramacho was really the rock that the Saints were rallying behind. I mean, he was initiating all the team fights. He was being the cornerstone on defense, just getting anything he wanted to. I mean, we saw how powerful he could be when left unattended, especially in that last round when he was able to get in that back line and just do whatever he needed to do. But, we didn't really talk about that, but shout out to the support players. I mean, the support play was so good, keeping everybody alive. I mean, we always give the flowers to the DPS of the tank players, but supports definitely should be earning their praise. But I think that being said, Azure, I think, definitely takes my MVP.
Yeah, a great performance from the whole team. Azure playing beautifully today and mixing in well with this team. I mean, done a great job this semester. Everyone has done a great job of accepting into the team, and you could see when the ball starts rolling, they all play very, very well together. So, a great job today from the Saints. But what do you think was like a thing they need to keep doing in the future to keep up their winning ways?
I think just keep playing the way you can play. I mean, we saw a little bit of a slip up in Kings Row. Like, really, they should have locked them out. Converse really shouldn't have pushed that payload. Like, even though it wasn't very far, they still shouldn't have gone to that point. So I think maybe just being careful that you're not overcommitting, especially when you're really getting deep into the enemy spawn, because like one pick from the other team could derail that entire thing. So just keeping it, stick with it, like I said, don't overcommit, because a team like Maryville is not going to let you get away with those mistakes.
Yeah.
So just keeping that, on lock, just not, like I said, overcommitting, managing ults. That's huge. Obviously, ult economy is something we always talk about. So just not overcommitting in the team fights, being smart with how you're using your ults, and just, like I said, just play smart. That's the easy way to do it. Good teams know how to win, and they find ways to win.
Absolutely. But with all that being said, we're going to be able to close things out. So thank you to our sponsor. We have St. Clair CC, St. Clair Alumni Association, Subway, Tim Hortons, and Alienware. Thank you to everyone in the back who made this stream possible. There's a good amount of people back there today. Follow us on all of our social medias to not miss out on any Saints-related content. We upload there daily, so be here to stay up to date to that. Thank you, Evan, for joining me on the desk. We're going to be back here tomorrow, I believe, around the same time. So it's going to be Fisher against St. Clair and Valorant, a very, very fun matchup. So with all that being said, thank you guys for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful night.